Hey y'all, I'm Jerdy, and in this video, we're going to talk about Blizzard's new 20th anniversary event for World of Warcraft, and let me tell you, it looks amazing. It really looks like, especially if you're a classic player, that you would really enjoy this. And let's take a step back and realize it's been 20 years of World of Warcraft and 30 years of Warcraft. I didn't realize Warcraft was just as old as I am, which really makes me feel old. It's also weird side note as a teacher, knowing that my two OG characters, Thangrun and Ranesh, are now significantly older than the kids I teach. If you didn't feel old before, I'm sure you do now. But with that being said, let's get on with the video. Let's first talk about what I think is the coolest part of this event, and that is the Blackrock Depths Raid. It's going to be a 10 to 15 player raid with LFR, normal, and heroic options. Now, if you don't know, I talk about this a lot on my Twitch streams. Blackrock Depths is my favorite dungeon of all time. It is such a cool place to explore for the first time. I still remember my first time going into Blackrock Depths in 05, and I loved getting to revisit it in Classic 19 and in SOD. And I honestly wouldn't mind if there was some progression on normal and heroic, just because it'd be true nostalgia for Blackrock Depths for us to be stuck in there for hours, wiping and dying on bosses or trash. So that's just one of the main things I'm looking forward to the most for this new event. And since we're on the topic of classic dungeons, let's talk about the time walking event for this anniversary, and that's going to be the classic dungeons back in vanilla. So we're getting Deadmines, Zul'Farrak, Dire Maul, and Stratholme. And what I'm wondering is, are we going to get the OG version of Deadmines and not the Cataclysm version? Because if that's true, then correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time in almost like 14 or 15 years that you can access the original Deadmines in the modern version of WoW, which is huge, right? That'd be awesome. I'd love to finally get to go back to that version in the modern game. In my opinion, that's a good dungeon list to pick from, because a lot of those dungeons like old school Deadmines, Dire Maul, and Stratholme are just the most OG MMO experience dungeons you can get. So it'll be really cool to revisit those again for the 20th anniversary. And the next biggest thing, which I think a lot of people are going to come back to for, is the fact that Blizzard is giving us remodeled versions of the Tier 2 set from vanilla WoW. Of course, every paladin's favorite set is the Judgment set, competing with the new Halifal set. I'm just going to say this. I thought the Halifal set finally dethroned T2, and I guess Blizzard heard me say that and took it personally, and now they're giving us these remodeled versions of the sets. They're also going to be making Tier 2 sets for every class created after vanilla as well, so Death Knights, Monks, Demon Hunters, any class I missed, sorry. And you can see them right here, and man, they look really cool. Blizzard just really wants us classic players to get back into retail, huh? Now, I don't have all the details on how this next event's going to work, but it looks like we get to go back and revisit the opening of the Gates of Ahn'Qiraj, which I know was a huge event during vanilla. Players will get to queue up and fight old bosses like Tichondrius and Kel'Thuzad and a bunch of other characters that we've seen in the past, while helping throw me out with some crazy events going on, I'm sure. And speaking of bosses, they'll also be giving us all the world bosses from vanilla, including the Green Dragons, Azurgos, and Kazakh, as well as Archivon the Stonewatcher from Wrath of the Lich King, and the Shaw of Anger from Mrs. Pandaria and Azeroth for this event. So on top of all these really cool events, the Blackrock Depths Raid, the new Tier 2, the Gates of Ahn'Qiraj, all these things that classic players would really enjoy, there's also going to be a bunch of mini games like a PvP event, an Asmongold style mount off, an ice rink, some cool toys to collect, some cool transmogs to get, all located at the entrance to the Caverns of Time. And the coolest thing about all this, in my opinion, is that this 20th anniversary event isn't just an event. It's actually the first major patch of the War Within. This is going to be the 0.5 patch coming up, and I'm so stoked that we're going to have a lot of time to actually get as much as we want done and not have to rush through anything. Overall, it just feels like a lot of thought and heart was put into this event, and for people who really miss Classic, they're playing Era, they're playing SOD, and they're not really digging retail, so that'd be a good time again to come back and really check it out and get to revisit some things they haven't seen in quite some time. I'm excited and stoked to do this. I hope you are too. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff I gotta mention, right? Follow me on twitch.tv/JerdyJD. As always, thanks for stopping by, thanks for saying hi, and I'll see y'all in the next video.